I do hope our housing prices are increasing. Welcome to the Shikama Live Show with your host, Shikama. Prime Minister Tony Abbott has welcomed increasing house prices in Sydney on the same day the head of Treasury voiced strong concerns about a developing housing bubble in the country's largest city. Asked by Labour leader Bill Shorten about John Fraser's comments earlier on Monday, Mr. Abbott said housing affordability was important, but that homeowners like him would prefer to see house prices continue to rise in Sydney. Quote, as someone who, along with a bank, owns a house in Sydney, I do hope our housing prices are increasing, Mr. Abbott said in question time in Parliament. I want housing to be affordable, but nevertheless, I also want house prices to modestly increasing. The important thing is to ensure that our economy is as strong as possible so that people have as much resources at their disposal as possible, have jobs so they can go out there and buy the things they need, including the housing that they need. Mr. Abbott said that if Mr. Shorten was concerned that things are happening that shouldn't be happening in the housing market, then he should support the government's small business package to help stimulate the economy. Earlier in the day, the Treasury Secretary delivered his strongest warning about housing affordability, saying he was worried an overinvestment in housing spurred by low interest rates has led to housing bubbles in Sydney and parts of Melbourne. Quote, it does worry me that the historically low level of interest rates are encouraging people to perhaps overinvest in housing, Mr. Fraser told Senate estimate hearings. Mr. Fraser pointed out to the proliferation of television home renovation shows, saying they are a sign that of the way in which low interest rates are affecting Australia's culture. Quote, I'm not talking just about buying houses. I'm talking about investing in housing. You've just got to see a plethora of these renovation shows to realize something's amiss. Mr. Fraser said the major drivers of the housing bubble were low interest rates and easy access to finance, saying he was concerned about the amount of money being poured into the housing market with rates so low. But the evidence of a housing bubble in the rest of Australia was not strong, he said. It is the strongest line Treasury has taken on the question of housing bubbles. Mr. Fraser said it is rightly getting a lot of attention and is occupying the interest of the Reserve Bank and the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority. He said the level of negative gearing in Australia was so popular because of the level of personal income rather than the low level of interest rates and easy access to finance. Ginny Wilkinson, Deputy Secretary of Treasury Macroeconomic Group, said the macro-prudential measures announced at the end of last year and which are being applied to APRA to try to curb overinvestment in housing are, quote, predominantly focusing on the investor component on housing and not the consumer, the retail buyer. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show. How do you like my Australian accent?